Lou Lazarus, 18 Beehive Court, Beehive Lane, Ilford, Arsenal supporter, who lent me the copy of the Leader Book of Who's Who in Football 1934. Down to the Valley.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned on the phone that you were down at the first time Charlton and Arsenal met in the First Division.
Yes.
In 1936.
That was at Charlton.
At Charlton.
At Charlton, and we used to get from Hackney, where I lived at the time, Hackney to Charlton for a shilling return on the coach.
Mm-hmm. This is a special coach laid on.
This was a special coach laid on for the for supporters.
Mm-hmm.
And you got there in about 3/4 of an hour, and of course it was a shilling to go in, and the valley looked beautiful really, because you used to get right up on the top, and you just looked down. It was like looking down into a great big, what would they call it? An arena.
Yeah.
And everybody was bedecked out in hats and colours and everything, and no trouble, just char acting and so on. And I can't remember the names of the two players, but the first time they played them, Arsenal brought out two new backs, two youngsters, and of course, to my mind, when Arsenal played Charlton at the Valley, I think that there was always a little bit frightened of them, Charlton, and there was always to me that always seemed to be like 2 goals in front before they started.
Yeah, the Arsenal.
And yes, for the Arsenal, and I don't think Charlton's ever beaten Arsenal.
I don't know. They came down close last season.
Yeah, but I don't think they've ever beaten. I don't know if they have beaten. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
very much
it was really good game. It was all good stuff. It wasn't. Of course, it was when Arsenal played them at the Valley. It was 65, 70,000. It was nothing less. It was always there.
There's always been that traditional rivalry between Charlton and Arsenal, because they both originated in the same area.
Yeah, but it was friendly rivalry. See? And well, it was just good.
So where did you used to stand if you went down to the Valley?
We used to stand. They used to park where Sam Bartram Gates.
At the top, yeah.
At the top there.
Yeah.
That's where we used to stand. And you used to come in from one entrance, and the coach used to park on the top, and all you had to do was come round and then look down. But some years we had a chap with us who lived in Rotherhithe, and he got married and he went to Maze Hill. And I used to go there sometimes on a Friday.
Yeah.
If Arsenal played at Charlton, or sometimes I used to go and see Charlton if I stopped over, went with him.
Yeah.
Maze Hill Station is right near Charlton, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
And I used to go there and see them. See them play then. I don't forget who they were playing. Not always Arsenal, because sometimes I used to go to this chap and we used to go out dancing round that place, round that way. And of course, I think what brought me more into liking Charlton was the fact that this chap who I tell you who I worked with, his father was a foreman, waterman and lighterman. And there was a big, he used to have a raffle. And in the end of 1937, I bought a raffle ticket from him in the shop where we worked together for 6pence. And of course, it was just a raffle, and they must have sold thousands upon thousands.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, he phoned me up one night. He said, "Louis, you've got the second prize." The second prize. This is what the second prize was. It was half a ton of coal, which they give you the money for. It was 3 bottles of whiskey, 3 bottles of gin, and 3 bottles of port. £5 of tea, a box of 50 cigars. There was 200 cigarettes, a a turkey weighing 22 pound and a leg of pork, which I give to him. Myself being Jewish, you see, we didn't eat pork at the time, and now it's a bit different now.
Yeah.
But I gave him the leg of pork, and there was quite a few other things with it. It was a terrific hamper. The first prize went to South America, which was double what I had. See? Because I suppose as they got on the boats, they used to sell them tickets, and that was it. And I had to go and collect this prize in the Europa. Do you know it? The public house called the Europa.
Whereabouts is
the
that?
bottom of Rotherhithe Tunnel. As you come out the tunnel, it's on the right-hand side. The pub. I don't know if it's still there.
Well, it's changed a bit now because you've got the road leading down. Oh, yeah, I know where it is. Yeah, I know where it is.
Rotherhithe Tunnel.
Yeah.
The Europa. And I collected the prize in there with this chap I used to work with. His name was Albert Kirsch, his name was. And anyhow, we had such a good time in it that I finished up flying drunk. And he put me in a taxi with all the stuff.
Yeah.
And I got home and I just got in and I said to the taxi driver, I said, will you help me with the stuff? He got the stuff out the cab. I put it inside, paid him. I don't know what I give him, but I paid him some money, and I went in and I just flopped out money to bed. And that was it, collecting the prize from there.
Yeah.
And since then, I've always had a liking for Charlton.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more Millwall territory though, isn't it, Rotherhithe? It's more Millwall territory.
Oh, well, that was Millwall. Yes, but this chap lived in...
Is it that all right?
Yeah, fine.
This chap lived
Football crackers.
in...
I want you to film.
He lived in... what's the name of that road? Going through Rotherhithe.
Evelyn Street, Jamaica Road.
Jamaica Road. He lived in Jamaica Road. In the whole of Jamaica, in the middle of Jamaica Road he lived.
Yeah.
And of course, his father being a waterman and lighterman, and his son, he was a waterman and lighterman as well. And we used to have quite some nice parties together, really.
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah.
Some real good times. Yeah.
So you also mentioned that you saw the Charlton Arsenal match at Highbury, did you, the first time they met there in the First Division?
I think it was the first time that they played at Highbury when Jack Kelsey was in goal, and Leslie Compton. I think he let in 2 goals through Compton's negligence. It was.
Yeah.
And I can remember Leslie Compton giving Kelsey a good rucking, but I think Arsenal come out winning that game.
Yeah.
Because at that time Arsenal were mostly very, very good. They were predominant in if they was losing half time, 9 times out of 10 they'd finish up winning.
Yeah.
And there was never any trouble. Just good banter, and it was lovely.
Because that first season that Charlton had in the First Division after their rise out from the third to the second, they finished as runners up to Manchester City, wasn't it?
That's right.
And were in fact above the table, above Arsenal on the
table. Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then during the war, they played. What was it? 1940. It was in the cup final.
43.
43. They played
Wembley. Yeah.
They played Derby. Was it?
Oh no, they played 46. They played Derby and lost.
Yeah. They played them at Wembley. That was Wembley. But 43, they was in the final. Where was that final?
That was Wembley as well.
Wembley,
against Arsenal.
Yeah. That was against Arsenal.
And that was 7-1.
Yeah. These are the things that stick out in your mind.
Yeah. Were you at that game?
No, as a matter of fact, I wasn't. Because I was away at the time.
Yeah.
And of course, when I heard about that game, it was astounding. But they did beat Derby, didn't they?
They beat Burnley.
Burnley,
47. They beat Burnley.
Yeah.
After only just only by the odd goal, an extra time, single goal.
Oh, it was really good. Yeah.
Well, tell me more about sort of your memories. You said that you used to love going to the Valley.
Well, the Valley was always somewhere to go. As I told you, I used to stay with this chap over in Maze Hill. We're from his girlfriend lived in Maze Hill. And we went there, and we used to go from Maze Hill. We used to walk to the Valley from Maze Hill, because it's only a walk really.
Yeah.
And we used to have some, good times. See Charlton play, and it was just going there and walking back. It was a pleasure, really.
Yeah. Can you remember sort of the any of the sort of the vendors or people that be flogging stuff, or buskers, or?
Oh, there was always big chaps with wear your colours. We used to be wear your colours, but of course I always had my colours. I always had a hat with a red and white ribbons all done round it, a machine round it, and of course I always used to have the badges like everything. But that was a good days.
Really. They used to have entertainment down there as well, didn't they? I suppose they probably
the
did
Valley, yes,
as well.
yeah, the same thing as Arsenal. When at one time Arsenal used to have bands. I see Ambrose conduct.
Really?
Band at Highbury.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And of course now they got they always had the police band at Highbury. And that used to be a lot of fun and all, because they used to march around, and sometimes the bloke used to sling the mace up in the air, and he used to drop it, of course, and everybody shout. It was always a good, at Highbury, there was always someone singing there. They used to have a beautiful voice and all, when they sang there. And well, all in all, it's it's such a good memory tonight. And I think I've seen the best of the footballers that ever were, really. Yeah. With regards of Alec James and Ewan Gallagher and most of the Arsenal team.
What are your memories? I've got to ask you, what are your memories of sort of specific Charlton players? Good points or bad points?
Well, the Charlton, I always thought there was a good team, but they weren't good enough for the first division. That's right. That was my thoughts of Charlton.
Did a lot of people feel like that? Because they come up from the third division?
This is what it was. Yeah, they come up from the third and they rose up. Yeah. And like it is today, I mean, a lot of teams come up from the third and to the second, and they don't last long in the second, or they go into the first and go back into the second.
Yeah, this is Charlton.
This is what I always thought of Charlton. Yeah, they just weren't good enough for the division, the first division.
Well, they dumbfounded their critics, didn't they, in those first few seasons?
Oh,
they were never out of the top five, or top four, in fact, for the last 3 seasons.
And they always used to get a good following.
Shame that's not around now, I think. But what about people like Don Welsh?
Don Welsh, I used to like him as well. He was a very good player. Don Welsh, yes.
He was very hard, wasn't he?
He was always hard. I mean, most footballers them days were hard, but they never shunned tackles. They had to go, and they never stopped on the floor for long. Yeah. I mean, it was just the sponge, and no physios in them days. It was a sponge and a pair of walls, and bang, and up you got. Yeah. But of course, in them days, it was a leather ball. Yeah. Which was a bit different from.
On a wet day, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, good God. Yeah. Sometimes they could hardly kick the ball about. Really?
I imagine someone sort of fired up a vicious shot at you full in the face. I mean,
you
certainly. Well, you probably wouldn't know.
Oh, and sometimes behind, if you was unlucky enough, you were stood behind the goal, and someone would get it in their face.
In the crowd.
In the crowd. And I've seen that happen a few times at Highbury as well. Yeah.
What about other Charlton players? Sam Bartram, of course.
Sam Bartram, well, he was very good, but of course he's like today's. I think Grobler. I don't know if Grobler ever see him, but Grobler reminds you of Sam Bartram, really, because he used to be able to be out of his area all the time.
Yeah.
And of course in them days, they wasn't supposed to mark the pitch out, the goalkeepers. Sam Barson always used to.
Yeah.
He always started off, I've noticed him start off with the middle. He always marked the spot in the middle, took a little bit of turf out in the middle, and then 2 more sides. So he knew his angles, Sam. He really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hobbs, he was another very good player, very good winger. And what was the rest of that team?
Wilkinson, Bolter.
Bolter, he was another good. This is
Glasgow Rangers. Who else was there? Jimmy Oakes and John Oakes.
Oakes, yeah. And who did you say so like then?
Hobbs, Welsh.
Yeah.
City.
There it is.
Joe Mercer.
No, Matt Busby.
Matt Busby. He's just celebrated his 80th birthday, isn't he?
There's another one. McCluskey. Scottish international. That was hard, but they played hard, didn't they?
Yeah. Very much a different game, wasn't it? To
it's
today.
a lot of different.
Of course, to the extent, I suppose, quite often a player would spend the best part of his career just with one team.
Yes, all for, what was it, £8 or £10 a week first team, and
Those are the maximum wage.
And £5 for the winter, for the summer.
Back to Man City.
Where's Charlie? Jimmy Seed used to play for Spurs. Before he became manager of Charlton. Joblin. He was a very good player. I've seen him quite a few times. And Oakes. And he was a funny Trotter, I think, was a footballer before he was a trainer. But I don't know who he played. I don't know who he played for, Trotter. And
Norman Smith. Norman Smith,
Yeah.
he was one of the players. He joined Charlton about 1922, and he was one of the almost original league team.
I remember him well. There we were Allen.
Ralph Allen.
Yeah. There were some smashing players. Really good players. Yeah.
And of course, a bit later after that was Sailor Brown.
Sailor Brown, yes, yeah.
Do you remember? Because he was supposed to have been a bit of a character on the pitch as well as off it.
Well, at one time there was always banter on the pitch. I mean, I can remember going to Spurs when Spurs played Arsenal, or Spurs. Sometimes it's at West Ham, and Spurs played West Ham, or West Ham played Spurs. I don't know which game it was. I went there, and you see Ditchburn and West Ham got shape up to each other. And just before the game started, they was changing over at end. You see, they just like shape up to each other, they hit the rest and just go back to the goals.
Yeah.
And you always got things like that. But Charlton, as I say, it was that was nice to watch. But I never thought they would ever make it in the first division. But I'm glad they're doing it. They should pull away from there now after beating.
Well, after Saturday's game, I was down there Saturday. Of course.
Oh,
I was a happy man when I left. I tell you that.
Nice crowd as well.
Not bad.
Getting better.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think there was certainly a few thousand up on that same fixture last season,
Yes.
which was towards the end of the season.
But as I say, when they get to the Valley, I think they'll do a lot better, because the last photo I see of the Valley, it was pathetic. You see all the grass growing. Of course, at one time they said that was they could have made that the biggest ground in London.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Because it was vast.
Huge site. It was 12, 15 acres, I think they've got there. Huge. I mean, that natural arena that there is there.
Of course, at that time, they was in charge of it, weren't they? The wood people.
Lixtons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all right when it was Albert and Stanley, but Michael, the son...
Yes, he didn't I don't think he wanted to know about it.
He didn't towards the end. Well, he was partially responsible for them leaving. But can you remember when they left? It's only 4 years ago. Did that sort of stir any sort of feelings?
Well, I did really, because I said to the chap I used to work with, and I phoned him the other night, and he goes to Charlton. He goes all their away games as well. And he says, if they can only get back to the valley, he says, I'll be more than happy. Of course, he lives in Blackheath at the moment, and of course he goes to see them where they are now. But he says the atmosphere is not there.
No, there's no atmosphere.
There's no atmosphere.
Yeah. But down at Selhurst, one end of it, Ron knows, sold off to Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And so you've got a tiny little terrace and the Sainsbury's supermarket built behind it, and it's just basically a three-sided ground. And well, it's not home. I mean, Charlton supporters don't feel welcome there. Charlton team themselves don't feel welcome.
True, yeah.
And no matter what they said about ground sharing being the future of football, it's not.
Never. No.
It's not. Not with the setup that we have at the moment, where the routes are so.
But I think they'll attain, a good standing again, Charlton, in years to come. I mean, they got some good youngsters there.
Yeah, certainly have.
As long as they don't sell them off too quick.
Well, that's certainly Paul Williams. I suppose their scorer, the only goal scorer they've got at the moment. I suppose.
Well,
I mean,
how long's he going to stay there now?
Well, he signed a 2-year contract, so I mean a year at least.
Yeah, but then if someone comes on with a good bit of money for him, then he'll go.
Yeah. Well, I think that's been one of the problems Charlton have had through the years. The fact they've sold to make a buck rather than kept their best players in order to create success on the field.
And he was not so long ago, Nicky Johns.
Nicky Johns, yeah.
Nicky Johns, a goalkeeper. Yeah, he's a goalkeeper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a good guy. I thought he'd come off better than he.
Well, he went to QPR.
Yeah.
And then of course David Seaman took his place in the QPR.
And then Peacock.
Keith Peacock, yeah.
That's right. And then his son. He got a son playing, hasn't he?
His son plays for
Gillingham.
Son
I
plays
think
for?
it is. Yeah. Oh, I keep my eye on Charlton. I like to. Yeah, Peacock, he was quite good. I used to see him quite often.
Any other names that stand out over the years? I suppose maybe for 30 odd years you probably didn't see very many live Charlton players because they weren't in the first division.
No. When they was floundering in the third division, of course you didn't go and see them then.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you got a choice of Arsenal down the road.
Oh yeah.
But when they finally go back, I suppose that's a victory for football, isn't it?
I should hope so. I hope they get back soon.
Yeah. Well,
they think about 18 months, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I was talking after that thing on telly last year, so I was talking to Steve Sutherland, the commercial manager, and he was saying they are desperate to leave Selhurst Park before the beginning of next season. Yeah. They do not want to start another season at Selhurst Park because since the move's been announced back, things there are not very good.
You'd have thought Greenwich Council would have subsidised them.
They would have, yeah. Well, they've been voicing support. The leader of the council the past couple of years has been voicing support in helping their return. But as soon as it actually becomes concrete and it can actually happen, they start dragging their heels. And they're not going to hear the planning application until January, which is ridiculous. Because I think they're worried about the...
then that's another 2 years, I suppose, before they start. They've started clearing.
Well, what they've done...
I know the supporters started clearing, didn't
that's
they?
right. The supporters cleared all the terraces and cleared the pitch of all the trees and what have you. They put in new drainage and seeded the pitch, and that's all taken. That's been mown a couple of times now. But where the old grandstand used to be, you have the small grandstand in the middle, then you have the two bits of terrace on either side. Yeah. That's all completely clear now. They've dug all that out, ready to put in the footings for a new stand. Fine.
And Millwall, you have to be careful what you said.
Yeah.
If you stood there, hello.
If Whiskey wanders in, I brought the dog up all night.
It's my dog. In Millwall, if you said the word out of place, then you've had it.
You knew.
Yes, you knew what you. Of course, you never. Though it was never kept apart. You always mixed in with the crowd.
Yeah.
But of course, Arsenal never played Millwall in them days. You see, it's just if you used to go, if you had a spare Saturday, like you thought, well, Millwall looks like they got a good match on today.
Yeah.
I used to go down to Millwall.
Mm.
You see, I lived in the East End at the time, and it was it was tuppence on the bus or something like that, and you walked there. But you dare not shout for the other side if you're near the Millwall supporters.
Yeah.
Because there was all the doctors and or you know, all the lightermen, and they was real buggers.
Hard nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what I've heard. You know, if you started saying shouting for the wrong team,
You
then the least you would get would be a sharp dig in the ribs. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, this whole. I mean, although it doesn't disprove the whole thing about football violence, but there is this tendency to look back at the football past through rose-tinted spectacles and say how it was all wonderful and glorious and everyone was friends together.
Yeah.
But whereas in reality, probably, I mean, from tales I've been told, you would be friends before the kick-off, you'd be verbally having a real go at each other during the match, and half time you may be chatting with each other. Then second half you'd be hammering songs. Oh, you shut up! You know, this kind of stuff.
But then you'd walk at the end.
At the end you walk
out.
You'd
walk away and say ta-ra and all the best, and that was it.
Yeah.
This was the self-same thing with Arsenal when they used to play Brentford,
and
Arsenal could never beat Brentford. And when Brentford were in the first division, that was as good a team as you wish to see, and the Arsenal could never beat them.
Yeah.
I see some glorious matches down there, and she used to get around Fulham. Well, very seldom went to Fulham. But of course most of my memories are at Highbury, really.
Yeah.
With all the best players of the day of that time, like Alec James, Ned Barkett of Birmingham. Oh.
So you look back on the 30s as being the real sort of.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the special days to you.
Oh yes. I mean the days even before Compton, before the Compton brothers, you know, like before the war.
Yeah. Did you notice was there any real sort of change in the atmosphere surrounding football after the war?
Oh yes, yeah. That was wasn't such a great change, I don't think, after the war. But it was more. What should I say? They used to go in harder somehow. They seemed to go in harder than they did before the war.
Yeah.
Well, it was a Highbury, and Arsenal played. I think he was playing, and Joe Mercer was captain, and he had his leg broken, and that was just a blatant foul. You know, it was just real bad foul at the time. But that's when it seemed to be getting harder and harder.
Well, there was a famous match at Highbury between Charlton and the Villa, and their second replay in 1938 in the fifth round of the Cup when Hobbs had his leg broken.
Yes, yeah.
There was a bit of an uproar about that at the time, I think. And what happened? Hobbs was, I think Villa sent someone from Villa, a supporter or something from Villa, sent a letter to Harold Hobbs' father, apologising for the Villa fullback for breaking Hobbs' leg. Yeah. And then Hobbs' father wrote back, "Oh, never mind, it's okay, it's one of the things in the game." Charlton were furious that his father had done this because they were going to try and sue him, try and get some money out of them. You know, that sort of blew the whole thing. Yeah. You know? But I mean, the stories I've heard about that were that when his leg got broken, you could hear it crack. Right down
Highbury. Quite true. You do hear it. You can hear it. I've heard one. I was at Spurs. I forget who it was now, and I heard his leg break. So I used to get right into the front. When I was used to go to Spurs, so I went to with my brother. My eldest brother, he's dead now. He used to take me to football. He used to go in right in the front, because he used to get there 2 hours beforehand and come home half hour before the game finished. See? But it was right in the front of Dan. Spurs played someone, I forget who it was, but his leg, one of the players' leg broke, and you hear it now. It just like a snap. Yeah. Then they knew right away that what it was. Of course, then there was that Dooley. He broke his leg and he had to have his leg off.
Had to have it amputated.
Because they didn't see to him quick enough. They got dirt in his in the breakage or something, whatever it was, and he had to have his leg amputated. Now there was a thing on yesterday. I don't know if you noticed it. When Villa bloke, forget the name in there, he got the ball kicked in his face.
Oh yeah, he was that cold, wasn't he?
Did you see what the goalkeeper done?
Turned him over and
he turned him over.
Away, yeah.
That was for that reason that he shouldn't swallow his tongue.
Mm.
You see, a lot of people didn't. I wonder how many people noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed that straight away because I've had a bit of training in
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I thought it was quick thinking. I mean,
Yeah,
normally,
it was very good. It was very good thing.
What you'd think if he's out cold, his other players would gather around
That's
and
right,
slap
yeah.
him on the face and
That's
come on,
right,
come on,
yeah.
come on, but it's no good.
Of course,
you know.
and Brian Moore noticed that. He said something about that.
Yeah.
I thought that was very quick thinking on the goalkeeper's part.
What do you think about football today? I mean, obviously it's changed, and
Well,
you still go occasionally.
As I go, I told you I go to Orient, where I get in. When I leave here at the kick-off is at 3 o'clock. I get in. I leave here at 2:05, and I'm in the ground at 2:50.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I go in and I walk up the stairs and sit down, which I shouldn't do. I know. But if I stand up for the first half, I usually go upstairs in the second half and see him. But the football, to me, is not like it was. It's not a patch on football as it is.
What do you think the major differences
years
are?
ago? It's so much different. I mean, you get ball players. I mean, the best one I've seen. Well, he was. Although I'm an Arsenal supporter, he was a Spurs player. He was John White. To my mind, he was a great player.
Yeah.
And I think the only one coming anywhere near him, Rocastle. But John White got electrocuted. He got struck by lightning while playing golf for Tottenham, and he got electrocuted. Yes.
That's a great waste.
But Rocastle is the nearest I've seen to him.
What about the speed of the game? Do you think the game's got
Oh,
faster?
the game is a lot speedier, a lot faster. Years ago it used to be 6 moves, where today it's only 4 or 3.5 moves. See? But of course, they used to say that Matthews was very, very good. But to my mind, when he used to play at Highbury, Hatford always had his measure. And he was just an ordinary player until that cup final. When I mean, let's face it, that's all he ever done was to put that ball over in the last run.
Yeah.
And they called it Matthews final.
Yeah, because Bolton and Blackpool have been trained together in the first round of the cup, haven't they? This year, a bit of a change from the final.
Oh, yeah.
But Matthews wasn't international for a long time.
No. I see him not long after he played for. He went from Stoke from Port Vale to. Where did he go?
So Blackpool, Stoke. Blackpool and Stoke were his 2 main teams.
That's right. Yeah, he went from Port Vale to Stoke and Blackpool.
Blackpool was the end of his career. Then he went back to Stoke, didn't he? He finished his playing days at Stoke.
Mortensen.
Stan Mortensen.
Yeah. There was Hughie Gallagher, another one. And Roberts, he used to play for Arsenal, centre half. I see him play one day at Highbury, and the pitch was like a quagmire. And Hughie Gallagher, he was up against Roberts, because the centre half was always marked centre forward in them days. And Roberts, kicked him to pieces really, and he fell down so many times. And he used to get up crying to the referee, and the referee just waved him away. But in the end, they all shook hands and come off.
Yeah. What about sendings offs and bookings? Did he used to get?
He used to get the bookings. The referee used to waggle his finger at him, but there was never any.
Yeah.
I can't remember seeing anybody get sent off really. No.
Because to my mind, maybe money is something that's come into play here. In the days of the maximum wage and the set bonus. Okay, you stood to get an extra £1 a week if you won.
Oh yeah.
But compared to if you lost or drew or whatever.
I mean, you can't think and get a chap like Ali James. It was marvellous. And he was getting £10 a week. in them days because it was different money, I know. But what could he be worth these days? You know,
that's right.
As regards to footballers.
Yeah.
I mean, Hume, Bassett. They was, to my mind, they were greats, really.
Mm.
Yeah.
End of interview of Lou Lazarus. Obviously a bit of general stuff there, a few relevant Charlton pieces. One further story which I must say, which he didn't actually want me to record, but I'm going to talk it in anyway, was that when Charlton first played Arsenal at Highbury, it must have been 1936, Harold Hobbs came onto the ground. It was a very cold day. Harold Hobbs came out onto the ground and Lou said that it's the only time he's ever seen a professional footballer walk out onto the pitch, or any footballer for that moment, walk out onto the pitch still smoking a fag. And he was sort of cupping his hands and rubbing his hands together in the cold, and in the centre of his cupped hand was a fag. And Lou clearly saw this, that Harold Hobbs was smoking a fag as he walked onto the pitch. And then when the referee finally blew his whistle to call the teams to take their positions, ready to start the game, Harold dropped the fag and ground it into the pitch so it couldn't be seen. So anyway, Harold Hobbs walked onto the pitch smoking a cigarette. How about that? Interview with Rob and Gloria Brownhill at 30 Malvern Avenue, Bexley Heath, on Thursday the 3rd of November 1989. Contacted through the article that appeared in the programme recently.
Have you got any stories about the League Line at all?
No, I haven't.
That's strange, because Jan said that, didn't she?
Yes.
She said it's strange that no one had spoken about that.
Yeah.
But that story was ridiculous.
Yeah,
It was your story.
Well, the funny thing about Charlton most of the time, it was August 73. Charlie second. It was August 73, and the League liner went down to Brighton from Charlton for the League Cup during the midweek game, and we all climbed on in the morning. And it took the whole of the team as well, and the officials and the supporters. And I think Theo Foley would have been this man, he was 73. Anyway, and we got down there, and it was quite a nice day out, and we won 3-2, which was nice. And we jumped back on the train to come home, and got back to Charlton, and the train next stopped. Couldn't believe it. Chugged onto Woolwich Arsenal, didn't it? And we knew it should have stopped, because when we got out of Woolwich Arsenal, there was Charlie Hall in the big box of all their gear, hug it across the platforms to take it on the other side to get the next train back to Charlton. So we didn't realise that we hadn't made a mistake. Because at first I thought we'd made a mistake. It said it was going to stop at Woolwich Arsenal, but no, it was. And I said, oh, poor Charlton, it can only happen, yeah, that's right. And we laughed about it. I'm surprised that you haven't heard no one.
No one's. I mean, it's just been very easy for me. All I've really been doing so far is concentrating on the older days, getting the earliest doors first, because obviously, especially when that matches back in 1923, where in their pre-league days, people are knocking out, very old. So let's concentrate on that. We thought, well, the more recent stuff, the last 30 years, I can pick up very easily. So that's the reason for increasing problem. But I mean, when did you both start?
Oh God, I've been going down. I went down the very first season after they went down. Because I used to really be, at school, a Tottenham fan. That was a team I followed in the paper. But never really went. And then I went down to Charlton, what was it, 1958? And with a couple of mates of mine, we saw it. And I think it was actually every Wednesday game. I think. With John Hill, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, bear in mind, the first game in a football stadium. And I saw a grown man just side foot a ball at the goalkeeper, and I just couldn't believe it. That's a thing I found in it. But yeah, 1958, on and off, and I suppose regularly, a couple of years later than that. And then you...
Yes, it was in 1961. I think it was. Just, my dad used to go, he used to work in Church Lane. And he used to have an extended lunch hour and go along to the match. And he must have said to me once, because being 13, he said, yeah, that sounds good, I think I'll go along. Sort of first outing on my own, because we used to live at Europe, jump on the train to Charlton. And so I quite enjoyed it. I didn't go regular, I used to go, well, I suppose as much as the pocket money allowed, really, at that particular time. And then I left school and went to work. I Well, I met you, we started going, well, I started
We
going
started.
regularly.
Yeah.
And then we were I was season to after 1966.
So do you meet in cases?
No, I think I told you the thing. No, we met at work, but we were actually at a game which was very poorly supported because of the evening. It was only a friendly, where Charlton won 5-0, and it was a hell of a lot of snow about. Now, we always used to stand in the same place, and Gloria said she did as well. Now, this was the uncovered end, roughly round about the halfway line over to the left, wasn't it? And that's where we used to stand. We used to stand just virtually above the walkway, you know. And I think you used to stand just below it. Now, this West Brom game, I don't know why it was, because I think it was a Friday night from memory, and we were standing, as I say, a couple of mates myself, watching this game, and, I mean, I didn't even know Gloria then, probably didn't even notice her. She was only a little schoolgirl. What year was that, do you know?
I think that would have been early 63.
Early 63?
January 60, January or February.
Oh, well, then I did actually meet you a couple of months later when you started working at our place, which was at the co-op in Woolwich.
Yeah.
And then we started going out with each other in November of 63. But we was just talking about Charlton because we could see, I mean, obviously we had the interest in Charlton then afterwards when we met. And we must have been talking about that game. So, I don't know if I thought it, I was wrong. I said, oh, so she spoke about it first. I said, yeah, I was at that game. And I said, did you always used to stand sort of where? She said, oh yeah. So I said, well, I always used to stand. So obviously that night when the crowd was probably only about 1,000 people, loads of snow about, and it was the game even went on, and it was 5-0 at Cheltenham, wasn't it? And Gloria was there and I was there, and we didn't even know each other. It was only a matter of about 2 months later we actually met through work, well, not meeting intimately, and of course a matter of what, probably 9 months later we started going out with each other. So it is strange, small world sort of thing. But I've been going, it's like an illness, Charles. It's an illness.
Well, we've got mum and dad goes, my mum and dad. We go, don't we? My sister and her husband, who's a Scot. They don't go quite so regular, but they go when they're able, which is, you know, let's start Charlie. And of course my son goes now, he's 16. In fact, he was quite thrilled, he sort of just started work. And he was quite thrilled to find out he could still be a junior red. They put his leg at work. He can get to Cheltenham, sit down for £2 or something, you know. He works with the Crystal Palace supporter, don't they? They pay good money, don't they? Their prices are quite a lot higher than Cheltenham's. And he can't believe it that Stephen's at work and he can actually get in the junior red for £2. I said, well, Stephen goes to the wrong club, you should come to Cheltenham.
We didn't renew his junior red because we thought he was old age, and we was reading something. And I was thinking, I said, must have become junior red. So I phoned up to check that I was reading it properly. And they said, oh yeah, I mean, it's just about an inch or maybe half an inch taller than me. And it's a junior red.
It's good though, because it's brown. I mean, they're young men, boys' minds to a certain extent. And when you see that, even though they're fairly quiet, you still get dragged into it.
That's right. I mean, that's right. Where you're at with the lads and you're having a good time and sometimes it goes too far. That's what it's about. Can you remember what it was like this for the first time you went into the battle, into the Monaco tennis and the targets, or did that have any kind of effect on the society at once?
It did me. I can always remember that, and I always used to like the beginning of the season, having left it only, 3 months earlier or so, and I used to literally be starry-eyed, and this is what I'm talking about, I was a teenager, just to walk in and just see the green pitch. It just looked, to my mind, just looked beautiful. I was going to stand on the corner of the grass there, and I was just looking at that green pitch. I suppose that happens in all pictures, you know, something just applicable to Cheltenham. I suppose there's a lot of people when they first go back at the beginning of the season. I mean, I don't notice that now. I don't notice that with a pitch at the beginning of the season, but then I used to always just walk in, God, that is gorgeous. And then the season would churn the pitch up.
Yeah, I think I do. You know, when you see that the goalmans have got grass in rather than just mud.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. That's it.
That's the thing that really strikes me, that vivid green of the grass.
Yeah. But I always used to look forward to the first game of the season, as much for the pitch, and that sounds stupid, as much to see that pitch again, right? Because it gets so churned up during the season. To go back and just see it roll out of a piece of carpet, it was lovely. Because they did have a good pitch then. They used to look after that pitch, lovely. And if they get it back now, they will do. Rather than down.
Well, it's been cut a few times. It looks nice. You know, I can't understand how they've done it so soon, because to my mind, the contractor is going to go and do it stand. They have to go away.
Do you think they're doing things to show their intent? I mean, let's be fair, they pulled us
Well, yeah, I
down
think
there.
so.
There's nothing like customer participation.
Yeah.
And when we went down there, on that Sunday, on the first Sunday we were there, and that was brilliant. And that was real fun. I mean, I saw Mike Norris, I saw Stevie get out there with his family, and to me, I thought, well, there's your director, there's your player, and then all these supporters, all with one aim. And then after the fact, I thought, well, why have we gone down and done that? Because it's going to grow again. And then the only answer I can give is because the people we've got understand, the board, understand people. In other words, they know that we're all down there because we love the place. They were down there because they love the place. And it's nice. After all those years of that fellow who literally run the ground and the club into the ground, we've now got people. I mean, they sent us through the Valley Gold tape, and to hear Roger Orwin talk, that man, he starts off talking, and it's just like watching a sales campaign video, and he's starting off to talk, and then you see the fervour is coming out of his voice, and you can see him suddenly. And I thought, that man, he's not talking as a businessman. Well, if he is, he's fooling me. He's talking as an out chance of all as well.
Well, I got an the last game of the season. I thought it was quite unusual. I went down and it was quite cute at the turnstile. Last game at the Valley, the park at Stoke. And I get in the queue and I get up to the underwood desk and I didn't have a change. And because there's always people behind me. And someone's like, oh, can't you bring the right money or words to that effect, you know? If this many people had been coming in the first place, we wouldn't be in this position. And I thought, oh God, what did I say that for? But I think we didn't hear, did we? Till like most people on the day after they were moving. And we were going across the common about a fortnight prior to that. And it comes over LBC that Charlton were moving. We were going to Crystal Palace and we couldn't believe it, could we? It came so suddenly.
So we won at the Palace game in September when they handed up the Palace game.
That would have been the one, the 2 weeks before.
Oh, sorry. Was that at the Palace game?
That was it. In September they handed up the Palace game.
That is when we heard it, as you said.
Well, we heard it before we got to the ground.
We was on the way to the ground, we heard it in the car.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't believe what we was hearing. Because we was on the way to watch Charlton play, and it was Palace, was it?
Yeah, Palace was the last but one match of the round. The last was to the table.
Yeah. Well, we heard it as we was on the way to the ground to see Charlton play Palace, and we thought we thought they opened up for something else. And of course when we got there, yes, they had the leaflet. But we never got a leaflet. I think your mum and dad had one when we got in. Or did we take one in and they never had one? I can't remember what it was.
I mean, the sort of tone of that leaflet was so, I mean, there wasn't anything conciliatory about it at all, was there? It was very sort of matter of fact. This is what's happening. This is how you get there. This is the area of land in the valley that we can't use. That's it. Goodbye to the valley. You know, there's no real sort of...
No.
Because of course Fryer was saying, the future of football was ground sharing. That was...
Yeah.
Look at this.
That is, around that story. My uncle used to work, I think it was at the Meridian, you know where he used to work, Joe? Rotunda. And I think this is where he got it from, I don't know, but my cousin was giving this to me, just to have a look at it. And apparently it was found at the Rotunda, and there were 2 Charlton supporters there, and one was my uncle, and one was this other fella, so they tossed for it, and Joe won it. I mean, we've looked through it. I thought, I had that about a month now, hadn't I? And I suddenly said to Gloria, I said, I must bring this down, because that is, once again, it's the old stuff.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's an only 20
This is probably around about the same era and stuff.
Ah. This is your hobby, is it?
Well, it's for the book. Yeah, I suppose in a sense. I'm a child fanatic. Yeah, through, but I mean, it's just listen to Gloria and the stories that come out from the families. It's my first time about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just thought so got to be recorded. Yeah. And I thought, well, it's not going to just be the old days. It's been right up to date, put things in perspective. At the time I started it, I didn't know the chance they'd come back. So I was hoping.
Yeah.
You know, but to me it was poignant for that reason that they weren't there anymore. And now they're coming back as well as even more poignant because the epilogue will be the return to the valley. So it's, well, that's like epilogue, you know, but manuscript finished by the time they go back and it's the last little bit. And how the was.
Yeah. And then you'll have it.
And then the manuscript will be ready and then
Oh yeah, we must know the next.
it's going to be like, well, this kind of science book, I suppose. Hopefully it's has 2 columns, each page with photographs.
Oh, lovely.
Page, you know. And I hope that we'll sort of put this whole bit up and grass for well, habitats and be most of people's own words.
And you'll make sure it's well published, that it's out once it's out.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I want to get I've got one publisher interested in the book on Leicester City over this year. But they're based up in Leicester, they're quite a small company, I'm not sure I'll go to a big company. And get sort of national publicity for it. You know, there's one chance of the valley is head on yours. And also the other thing which is particularly interesting is the dementia.
Yeah.
And the season that comes out, the first season so it's like getting the whole thing in perspective, the fact that football years ago wasn't all lovely.
No, that's right.
You know, you went down Mill in the 20s, you said the one thing, got rips. You know, I got there's a Charlton player moved to Mill in 1922, first season was Brownhill, was came down again. He went on a run, he shot a goal, I guess he shot a goal, just missed the goal post, just wide. And the crowd was so incensed that he missed us that bottle. And I was like, wow, you know, I never played in a home game for Mill, I never played games. You know, this is 1992. Because the violence and trouble is different these days, that's right.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, the place game? Because we're the home team then, aren't we?
Yeah. I was down the supporters club, IGN, Thursday, last Thursday, and they were talking about the safety committee minutes now, and one of the things they consider recently is the Palace child increases this season. And Palace are actually getting the whole of the season monopolised and the whole lot of low down, all each other's Charlton Town match, which is ridiculous because that ain't pen on the outlay terrace to be closed up all season since the trouble in Harris Berlin last season has been closed because they don't like the idea of opposed supporters being underneath in front of the away supporters behind them. But by having away supporters all the way along there, it's totally different to closing that end pen on. And they're also saying that probably when because Ron Nose didn't want Charlton to have the outlay terrace and didn't want certain this one doesn't want to away section and Palace with the away supporters which is the corner of the hotel where they nearest them is so the outlay terrace so the far top of the and probably what's going to happen with Palace if they don't manage down there at Charlton.
You know what is a shame? If they could have only given some undertaking and guarantee that Charlton would have been back saving the last month for the Valley, they could have switched pictures, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's right. Of course, Charlton can't give that undertaking now, can they?
Well, talking to Steve Sutherland on Tuesday, he was saying that they are absolutely desperate to leave Selhurst before the start of next season.
I bet they are.
They want to start another season at Selhurst.
Yeah.
Things going back to us there anyway, no team.
We've got the Mercury for a little while, and the other thing was somebody said to me only last week about the dentist, I think I said Friday, and he said something about Paul's Academy, and so I thought, they must be talking about taking one of the Paul's Academies from the Sellers to them. Is that what they're doing?
Well, they're toying with that idea, honestly, because the council of Dragonett Hills, one of the reasons I think the council of Dragonett Hills is the local elections coming up in May.
Rosie Barnes talked on that, didn't she?
Rosie Barnes, yeah, and she's...
Is that right? She went out one Saturday afternoon when Charlton were playing at home, i.e. at Sellers, and she's gone all the way around the actual valley, petitioning people about having some football supporters back.
I don't know, but I know she's opposed to it.
That's what I heard. I heard one afternoon when Charlton were actually playing at Sellers, so any of the three supporters would have been over there. She apparently gone down the valley petitioning people.
Well, I thought that was happening. I make a note of that. On December 3rd, we managed to get her to come down to my shop and put it on Reminiscence fence. Invited her down because we knew that she's opposed to Charlton Town. We also know that she's pro the membership there.
Well, that is what I heard. Don't quote me, otherwise you'll have
No, I mean, I say rumour has it.
Yeah, but that is what I heard, that she actually went round the Charlton area, around the Bay area, petitioning people, would you like your football club back? And of course, if you're not a Charlton supporter, you're going to say, no, well, I can't out there.
That's right.
Every season. Well, the Greenwich Council, they don't want to back them. Greenwich Labour, isn't it?
Well, the Greenwich Council, when it comes to it, cannot stop Charlton Town because Charlton have played at the Valley for 66 years and they've established right to play football at home stadium. The things that are holding them up is a planning application
for the redevelopment
for the stand and for the housing.
Yeah.
You know, because Lanes are heavily involved financially. They don't get that much for the houses, then basically finance them all through. But there's no way they can stop Charlton from going back to the Valley. I mean, they don't want to do it. But for the sake of the
That's right.
I mean, it's definitely they will go back.
Oh yeah, let's hope so. They'll see it's getting on.
Sold out and they might not.
And they are Charlton.
Might not Roger Owen on in there. So it's
They are Charlton. They got 2 years ago, they got the illness.
yeah, and Derek Huffman's a local boy as well. And
Well, he played, didn't he?
Played for them.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a marvellous story, that one.
Yeah.
Really, what he's done.
Yeah, it's great that he's involved. But anyway, so to go back to sort of your memories of Charlton, you said you started going down in 1958.
1958, yeah.
Did you see the Blackburn game at the end of that season, their first season in the second division, when they had to draw to get right back?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't know. Because I say, I didn't really start going midday. I wouldn't have thought about 50, 51. I went down to that, I don't know. That's when I first went down to see it. I only over there.
Can you remember when the floodlights were?
love it when West Ham used to come down from Cup games because you used to actually know there was a game at Charlton, you know, and then go.
Right, because all the people.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought it was a bar squad because it was that's the only ground I've ever been to.
So you go to sort of London Light matches?
Oh, no, that's been nice.
Occasionally,
I had to
Tottenham.
take different friends with me. Can't say they want to know to go again. You go, you know, I have to find someone different every time. But, no, I tell you what, I always thought, when they built these stands, what was down coloured in, and that was for away supporters. And when you think someone plays a big show as away supporters, not only Charlton, but every away team, and I thought, goodness me, I'd love to come to Charlton.
Yeah, but they couldn't believe it. They could actually pay. They wouldn't be an overcharge. It's lovely.
We went to Watford once, back in the 70s, didn't we? So Watford got messed up in the corner, and there was a few things in the corner.
Millwall, I think, is the worst one. Behind the famous floodlight. Oh, God, that's painful.
Well, we wouldn't go again, would we, this time?
No, we wouldn't go. We couldn't get a seat, so we didn't go this year, did we?
We went to a year there was smoking.
Somebody, why did you go and stand, not wear your colours and go and stand in my glory? I couldn't do that. I did that last year. Did you? Last year. And, because it's new in my face, like me. Yeah. That's when we get out of the No, but people said to me when I go to Valley, I support the other teams. I used to really enjoy going to Valley, and maybe it's a little bit different things. But once you got to the Valley, no matter where you were in the game, you always see. Yeah, you always see. No matter how big the crowd was, you always see. You find a spot somewhere. This is what we used to say as well. There used to be a big old scoreboard stuck high up in the corner. Remember that big scoreboard? And there was a very large fellow used to stand under him. I don't know who he was, and he was every match, full of colours, very big fellow. And just when I first used to go, that's where we used to stand up there. Yeah, that's at the other end of the covenant, and there's a little scoreboard. And he said, I don't know who that fellow was. I mean, he's quite interesting, he's trying to somewhere. Yeah. Because I said, yeah, that's his stories. Because he was born through Charlton and went out. So always in the same floor, whenever we would be there. Yeah. And a large fellow, really big, on the old scoreboard. Oh, of course, yeah, you find that people do get the spot. Yeah. You know, I mean, as we've then decided, I found out after, Gloria always sort of front, and I always said, where did you stand when we first, did you come and join me, or did I come and join you?
I can't
Or
remember.
did we stand when we went away and join?
Well, I'm not too far back, because being short, you want to get someone tall in front of you, and that's it. So the nearer I get the pitch is better for me, I've got a better chance to see.
We found though, we've progressed from standing on the terraces, we now sit down, don't we?
We're sitting over a pallet, yeah.
So we-
Well, that was because it was a concession. With the junior reds, you sat on the weight stand. We enjoyed that so much when we could see them.
Oh, initially, when we went the other way, that's
When we
right.
go to the palace, because
That's
to get
right.
everyone over there, it was a concession price. And we enjoyed so the next season, we get over the troopers supporter side and sit in the
Member
member
stand,
stand.
yeah.
And I don't know, that was fun. I mean, my son said, I'd rather stand up. Yeah.
Every time I sit down, yeah, you're right. You do feel as though you lose the atmosphere. The last Saturday we had a highlight, somebody I know, he wasn't using his box. So he phoned me up Saturday morning. He said, do you want any tickets for today's game? I said, well, we've got the tickets. He said, no, he said, I'm talking about your box. He said, we're not using it today. If you want it, at Burton Trevica. And it was box 23, which was right up the away support thing. You must be just about us for saying that's what the champions are. Ah, well, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad. And it was great, wasn't it? I think I could almost get used to that. Even though you got shit glasses. But that's it. That took the atmosphere away. I think, take me out on a day like this where it's going to probably be cold and wet and windy in there, and I can say, what's it about here, great. But yeah, I did miss, it was like watching a television without commentary. Only alone. And of course, when Chelsea scored a goal, we jumped up with mad, and we noticed either side of us, they didn't. And they seemed to just be, yeah, whether they were commenting, or whether they were more civilised, and I thought, we all went, wow! Well, you're not doing those boxes. That's right. Really. They're just going for the drink. Yeah. That's all. But there's your difference, you've got about a difference in condition. Well, there's your difference that we've almost done the full circle. You've got to get a seat in the director's box now. That's what we're back yet.
I thought it'd be under us, actually.
Well, I think now, if I had a choice, if they said, right, there is a choice, I think I would go back to my same seat. Which I think was the sound of the bulk of you last Saturday. As much as I enjoyed it, sitting there last week, I thought, well, I don't know, I fell out of it. I didn't feel in the game. But mind you, as I say, get a snowy day or a cold day, I might change my mind. I think I would like that. We were straight in coat off and sat down lovely. Until the game started. You know, I mean, it was the atmosphere. It wasn't really with the crowd. Which is how if I remember right, it's how I felt when I first sat in the scene. I used to think, well, I used to like jumping up and down over there. And I tried to sing and think, I couldn't do that for the day. But now, I'm getting older. But now I go in and I think, well, you get used to it, then it's when you get used to it. And it's very sad that the band doesn't want to see it at the moment. But maybe it's time to get used to it. But I mean, the fact that, I suppose, that if you're all seated, you don't get the sort of mingling around that you get when you go to the band to the band to such an extent. Although you, I mean, the chances, unless you're all seated together, the chances of sort of ending up, and yet people speaking week to week, all in the same spot. Yeah, yes, good night. I mean, you get to know they get to know the people.
think you find you do see people more when you're standing. Because when you're sitting, there's one thing you don't do, is bob about. So you just sort of sitting there, so I'm not, you say, I don't think I'm fully aware of who's behind me. And yet there's a couple of comedians behind us. And they're so funny, aren't they? Some of the things they say, it's entertaining. And it is fun. But if you were saying, who are they? I thought, I don't really know, but they're behind me. Whereas when you're standing, I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but I'm always a fidget. And I'm always looking about, and you're probably turning around, so you're going to hold to keep warm, and you might hear a bloke make the quip, so you look, oh, what's going on? You know, you don't do it sitting down. But that was fun when we went to Stella, we decided we were going to have a season ticket the other side. And we went down there on a day like this, pouring with rain, and we went down to the guest seat, didn't we? And we were there trying all the different seats. And how do you like this one? Yeah, not a bad view. And we ended up where the old press box is. And we got those seats, and when we've gone down there this season, because we knew they were playing seats, gone down this season, we thought, this is not right. Well, what they must have done, they must have stuck an extra row in at the front. Because Palace are now in the 3rd division. And what's happened is, what used to be A has now become B. So where we were in row, we used to be in row M, didn't we? It moved forward one. Then we used to have a leg win. Nothing. And then we got out. So we phoned up, and they appreciate what they've done. So we had to also a ticket, and we had to move back. But we also had to move along. Now, when we went down and picked those seats out, we had a good view. Having moved along slightly, it's only slightly, about a couple of seats. So whoever sits on the very end seat now, which is N65, is never comfortable where they go. But, so we'll be doing that when we're back in the New Valley. We'll be down there quick, won't have any poets. We'll be figuring it out. I look forward.
It's quite a dream, really. You think about Cheltenham actually doing it. Still very much a dream.
It's unique. We can't believe it. That's right. I mean, I've only ever known Cheltenham as being the kicking boys. Everybody thinks they're a joke, and not even a nice joke. I mean, Fulham has always been accepted as a joke team, but it's always a poor old Fulham. But with Cheltenham, it's sort of Cheltenham when they do something. That attitude. When then Cheltenham are finally doing something, this board, I'm sure they're going to win the game.
I think Benny Lawrence Christmas as well. He's got the second or the 7 manager best of the last time.
Yes. I was behind Joe Royal as well. I think Joe Royal might be different. But older? Oh, sorry, first division. Oh, yes, second division in the first division. Sorry, yeah.
Last season was John Marley.
Yeah.
I thought, but can't he take it up this year? That means that what Len's been to.
I get no loans out of this season. He's the only man that got stuck in the first division. You know, and when you think how he did it, I mean, they introduced Johnny Pearson, the end of 1984, I think it's on. And 100,000 rings. And then we bought Hampton and Humphrey. And they did all
And Shipley.
And Shipley. And when it's sort of fair, because everything we got 30 million. They were, you know, really stuck at the time. Oh, Pearson, that's what he was.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, Cheltenham doesn't have parish work now, but no, he really took it. But John Humphrey, one actually got into the business, and I don't think he can make it. And it's well, I've been up with him.
They've been shaking out this season.
Yes, it was very fun, but he's not running up to the Reminiscence today. He's usually allowed to look at the phone, isn't he? Because he's playing quite the same role. No.
Yeah, that defence he's got now is very sound. And I know people blame him forward, although it's kind of written up to the publicity for us. But I still say that the midfield is shaken up. I know Peter McKenzie, I would move Peter McKenzie out of the club now. I think they've gone as far as they can go with Cheltenham and as far as they can go with football. But I come up with a good theory over there, didn't I? The black and white Cheltenham show. We've got an all-white defence, which is absolutely opposite. That defence, there won't be a much better defence, there. Bolder, plus the forward. That's Humphrey, Mead, and the Crocker and Pope. That's solid. So, and I heard that Crooks is almost back. So Bennett is almost back. So I thought if they had Bennett with Crooks as the general in midfield, in the middle, so Bennett on the right of midfield with Crooks and then Mortimer, and then have Williams and Accompong, and Lieber's not there to score goals, he's there to make them. And those two busy around and he's picking it about. So you've got your 6 black ones in front of the 5 white ones. I think that's been quite good as well.
Yeah, you can't leave that room.
You can't, so I don't even want to talk Colin Walsh. You're covered. That's the only thing, I don't think I couldn't sort out, but I thought maybe I could sort it out. The black and white Cheltenham show.
Every time we let it go, we make up a new format, don't we? We play now. You can't hold on to a lead, can we? I don't think I've ever done Chelsea. Well, we all think we've got a team. We've got a team, you know, because it really looks like it's so even.
Yeah.
It didn't just look like a lucky game.
So the defensive stand, you know, it's on Chelsea. When Chelsea comes down, they look like this. Until they come against defence, they stop there. They couldn't do any more. You know, and Chelsea attacked them.
Well, I've never seen a player come to a new club and suddenly because it's a club, isn't it? From first, they've always been there. When it's effective playing alongside Tate, and that's helped him, I thought, well, don't even have to. Oh, you've got to be the ball over for winning.
I can't understand why Chelsea do get over this. I mean, they've actually got, is it Nelson Collins who likes him now? Patrick Collins. I actually liked him now. And you never see anything. I would have thought you were actually a big help to the job because mentioned your team. Well, cool, well done. Well, you turned up in a big car.
Yeah, he's a mate of Roger Owens.
Oh,
why he's always, I've asked Danny Lawrence and I've asked Mike Lawrence and I've asked why
Not actually a lifelong hope.
well, he said he was.
Yeah.
He's got a political career, isn't he? And that's what he's trying to do. Yeah. Look at me, I'm Mr. Puppet.
Yes, you don't go into the public court.
But I mean, the thing about it was, obviously, not the this year, is when all the applicants were allowing their supporters to petition their comparisons. Announcing over the panel and saying that their petition come around signing for the petition. And at Charlton, they would have met the petition group and the boys to allow that into the and Peter's in the caravan centre because of one.
Oh, good.
That's out of all, isn't it? And why? And also morning down the other day. Yeah, truly supporters are those that went on the perpendicular league liner. They went with the league liner. Where the league liner took us towards Brighton, where the ground is actually doing a hove station. So it's quite a walk, wasn't it? And on the walk from the station, well, I mean, we're down quite early anyway, so you're walking along the front. And then down in the water, with about 3 or 4 Charlton supporters, obvious because of their colours, absolutely fully clothed. And we said, you know, if they come down on the league line, we recognise their faces, they come down on the league line, they've got to go back on the league line, and in between they're going to watch a football. And they are, actually, they don't get to. And then they were in the water with their Charlton colours. Well, proudly on, wearing their colours proudly in the water, right? Oh, God, yeah. Well, that back to the last match today, you go. We would have saw that, yeah, we've got that picture on there, haven't we? You know, the same picture, some sort of picture, yeah.
Even then,
The long one, you know? Oh, that's yeah. Somewhere from up in the picture.
oh, I stood there, like a lot of people didn't know. I stood there and I was true, you never come back and said, look at the road. That's just something, it's unbelievable.
Because they were demonstrating this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you know.
But when I took the information, I took it about, I think it's actually football. I think it was.
I don't know, we went out and cut a little bit of picture up. I know that there's people taking lumps downstairs. There were people here in tears, well, men in tears, you know, as you say. And I think we just do stand, I mean, I couldn't even stand here and I couldn't believe that we were not coming back down here again. It was, I don't know, it was a strange atmosphere. It was a strange atmosphere. It was strange to see people walking around with nothing to talk. And I thought, well, it must be like because they couldn't do that. We came up with a little bit. Stephen went out, didn't he? Stephen went out and cut a little bit out. But it was a demonstration of this.
That's right, I think, actually I didn't see it, it was like it before that, we weren't in, so we had to see that. Oh yes, there is something, but it was, I think it was all something like that, I can't believe it. It was a bit of a moment, because people laugh, unless you're actually trying to think, nobody could really understand the whole thing. You know, but it was right.
Then the centre was, I mean, there's, you know, that's what they say in an idea world, but like that. But in case it's different, well, I know what they say, and that's of course that's it, yes. The way you go to the valley, which was one of the lines,
Well, you still got down at the night, I kind of got home to tell you, but there was no one
it's actually not so bad. It's like with a Newcastle. I can get home with that. From Norwood Junction up and try to get straight to Newcastle. That was probably oh God, yeah, that's only about 5 minutes. Well, the valley is a famed stadium anyway. I mean, as much as Charlton has been knocked, that's only really, I say recent, I mean, it is recent when you start talking about it, you talk about the Reminiscence stuff, because I think you said the other night, I mean, Charlton used to be the club. That wasn't it?
yeah, that's right.
I met the other night on the TV, you was on, was it on?
Yeah,
Steve Sullivan,
the
yeah.
second division, and Charlton were the club, yeah.
See, but instead of taking on from there, as Arsenal were, in Arsenal we moved from here, this area, I think, what, 1912, and they were putting money back into the club. Charlton comes to say, the men decided the same way. Here's a good place selling. Where does the money go? We don't know. Well now, this board, I've got a lot of sympathy for, because a lot of people have been knocking them, but it's this board that have kept the club going, isn't it? They've kept the club going, which is the team. On the other hand, you can survive with a stadium with a full team, because we've done it. I mean, Charlton have never dropped below into the fourth division, but we've been to the third division, haven't we? And we've been to some, we've been to the cup when we had to go into the first round. I mean, we couldn't believe it.
They across from a little hut, didn't they?
Yeah.
A field.
And we're staying on the same level with it.
Yeah, big ropes, you know, separating us with ropes.
And that was the first round of the FA Cup, and we beat 5-0. And you were thinking, oh yeah, oh, you good?
We went to South End. I don't know why. I think they were queuing, we were a bit late, as usual. And they were able to get,
Well, we was also to your little, you were able to get in there for half price.
in the boys.
Went through the boys, now you're not taking away.
Oh,
Was it the
that
Steve?
was Stephen.
So you paid the Stephen, so you got even nothing.
No wonder you get to shoot you in your head. Don't get off of me. And we had some bad things. I mean, we're not enthusiastic, and they were thoroughly, not everybody, probably only like one or two. And also, they had a bit of trouble at Southampton as well, you might have gone down a couple
Well, I
of
used to go to
times.
Southampton when I was a kid, so I grew up in Manchester. And the girls always went. And we used to see bad then, but since then they've got pretty positive fans.
They had to fight, they had to say, look, you know, we can't breathe, we've got to get out of this. And that was quite bad. That's only stupid.
Well, you got put all over Chelsea, didn't you? I mean, good
Oh,
point.
yeah. At the end of the match.
At the end of the season where Chelsea went down, the one all draw.
Yeah.
That's one of the most fantastic games I've ever seen. Yeah, and I never forget it. Yeah, that's one of my sort of strongest memories of that is, that was Chelsea school. And I was at a night like, so I believe the name of the Champions League game. And I sort of seen people dropping their colours in the heads, and I dropped my car. That's where we were. Yeah. And at the end of the game, we don't know where this coin came from, but we were standing there, and all of a sudden, Gloria literally shot 6 foot in the air, and suddenly it's not a coin, and it
All it hit was my finger, my small finger. Not my head or anything, it came from
Well,
it. And it
what is
came out
that?
like that.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know where it came from. It was really painful.
Sting of it.
And there was one little one, I mean, Cliff was here, he was there with his little boy, wasn't he? And I said, everything was here. We were getting all this about it. It was money.
Well, what I remember that show, because I was at the top, I looked down to see if I was like 10 minutes of the game. There was trouble, that's right. And it seemed to me that they were about, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 Chelsea supporters. In amongst us. Bared their colours. Just saw them doing their jackets, showing their Chelsea shirt. And it was loads of people, and the Chelsea supporters trying to get away from them. And after a couple of minutes, the policeman came. You know, if the police had done their job properly, they would have been in jackets straight away. But it seemed like most of them were just escorting members of the Chelsea supporters, which is right next to that corner. Yeah, it was fine. It was in Harrison in front of the offices. And they were just got into that. And there was a hell of a only Chelsea. It's the only reason. It's hard for the police to tell who was who, because we've all got the same accent. I mean, that's what happened. They came in with us, and of course, then they did. They just went stupid.
The truth was, to go home. That's how you get your atmosphere. No fun jumping up and down your own or being depressed, you know, is it really? You've got to.
When you do international stuff, it's quiet.
Yeah, that's it. So you can't follow, I mean, you can't follow got in your way at all, and then from his friends, I mean, that's just, I mean, it always surprised me, the number of the ways British actually see members down at home. And then this thing, you know, it's just, you know, you've just got to be members there, always.
Well, Saturday was the most fun.
They were fantastic. You're like that in Malta, you go jump up there.
What are your memories of that sport? Once again, I mean, I've got to be true to myself, actually remembering sort of games and incidents and things like that. I think it's one of those things that we were thinking, well, we just don't believe it. Yeah. Apart from that, I mean, I can't actually pinpoint any actual, there was that one day, wasn't there, the case with the That's right.
Whereas, coming back to the Paris, you always thought it was going to happen. The first year they had the training ground, we were all played there, and it had this big balloon all covered up. And somehow, look, I thought, going back to the Valley. You really thought it was going to be a balloon going up in the air, you know. I thought this was going to be the good news about going back to the Valley. And we tried to get in, but we never got the tickets, and I had to send the tickets last year. I mean, we knew what was going on there. But all the Lazarus and we went to Birmingham and the match.
Oh, that was great. For play league, when they played league, and they played.
I mean, there's never been a game like that. They never will.
Well, the coach at the beginning of it, they made sure they got the coaches there late.
It started at Andrew.
The game started, we'd run in, they passed very near where we'd gone in, and we'd run in, and the game had just started. And we thought, God, you know, they make sure they got us, you know. They passed really near, but the actual emotion, that's brilliant. I mean, and seeing Bob Boulder, who literally undressed himself, as he was, you had a glove, and you had a glove, and there's a fellow on our coach, he actually had a glove, you know. And there he was stripping himself, throwing his clothing into the crowd, and our family went down his shorts, didn't we? I suppose it was just his glove and his shirt, but yeah, they came over to us, and one of the young lads on our coach, he had a glove, and he'll treasure that, you know, that glove now, it's got to be even more, for that play.
My daughter, like, it happened there, he actually videoed the recording that and found out that was here. And when Charlton actually score, or when we score, you can actually see us, we're right in the back, because you can pick yourself up, out, you know, and you can see that when we score, you can see it, all of us, and all of us go, oh, actually, she rocked to the crowd, we did, we just literally sat there, you know, Charlton, we just sat there, and when Charlton scored, well, no, we just couldn't, because to us that wasn't Charlton's luck to do that. And then you can see us all jumping up and down, you know, you pick yourself That's right. How did you coming back? Didn't care. The going, we just come on. We stopped on the motorway, didn't we? And we were all feeling like we hadn't seen a couple of
lovely.
That was at 12. Yeah, I could work next day. It didn't matter, you know.
When we went to war, we had a load of coaches, and they made sure, a load of coaches went up in Fifth and Drag, they made sure they held the north, and how many was? Well, you look at me, I've done
We played Wolves in the FA Cup. And I'm almost sure I've got another trip home to now, coach. You might know. And all that from that, I didn't take that week out. I mean, we lost 3 years, that bit was tremendous atmosphere. You know, just to stay out. All the coaches were active Charlton. I mean, there used to be a big six of those coaches that were Charlton. So, all the coaches active.
Oh, yeah.
Really enjoyable. Sometimes the atmosphere does help you get over the result, if you know what I mean. Probably have to feel like that for Charlton, really. Yeah. I mean, not so much lately, because I'm fed up with people saying that Charlton beat the odds to stay out. Because if you look, every year's been a slight improvement. We just missed out in the playoffs. Then we didn't have to go in the playoffs. Last year, that's a very strong team.
Yeah.
You know, just so what was slow when you start. What does it matter?
So you reckon in the year 2000 we were champions? Yeah, where we were a little bit annoyed there though. This was with the club, although being fair to the club, we got in pretty quick ticket, and we thought we don't go here. I think we want good seats. So I said, what? What price is? And it's booked up to 14 quid. Right, we want the best seats. Now we reckon we must have been in one of the first, and they were starting from the back. We ended up right at the very top row, and where we were sitting, you know, how well you know where we were? Right, and we were sitting here, and there was this glassed off panel. I still don't know what it was. Where people.
Behind the ball, behind the ball.
Yeah.
Behind the ball.
It's like a glass panel, it's a glass top, maybe, I don't know, official or what. It's like a BBC. I think it was a television room. It was like a big sort of glass off part. All I remember was the view, but, excuse me, had Charlton won that cup, we would have seen it. And I was really annoyed because I thought, well, if they could have put us about 10 rows down so that we were ahead of that cup, it would have been lovely. And I thought, obviously, they've not known the seating plan, which I thought they should have been given. But the actual day, I mean, once again, it was a shame. They never came out, so.
Tremendous atmosphere going, the anticipation.
The other side,
Awful coming home.
yeah. Every time I was well,
And did they see this week? When they line up, and he just stood there and he was just excited as well.
But he seems to be getting better each season. It's a shame, I still think it's a shame they couldn't get him good.
To me, Steve Britt last season was a totally different because, again, children still being played well.
Yeah.
And that's got to say.
Yeah, but yeah.
They did all right, and also when I played really little things, and it's always, he was a festival flag, and he's going to
That's right. And we miss him now in the middle of the field.
you come right away through it, yes.
Yeah. There's Steve Britt is a player, and I can remember that he used to take a lot of flack when he first came to Charlton. And I'm sure I used to be horrible things, and horrible remarks. And yet he worked his way through, and tonight when he left, he still had good 2 or 3 seasons left. But from what I understand, Lawrence, there's 3 years on his contract, and Lawrence wants to keep him, but because he's been a good servant, they said, well, what do you want to do? Then 3 times, and now he's coming Watford. What a shame, wasn't it? What a shame he couldn't keep us. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. He does it also. We voted for him, only that.
Well, how he has to.
Yeah.
Probably makes 5 cents, I don't know. He touched me 2 years ago, in a nice way. Yeah. Not over the top way, but in a real lovely way.
Did you go to Ipswich? Did you go to Ipswich in the first round of the playoffs?
No.
Oh yeah.
The police, the
We'll sit in the pub,
officials
what's
were friendly, and we were in the pub, which, yeah, really nice.
Right, first job as well, wasn't it?
And they were there supporting the advertising, they were singing, and it was like an old-fashioned atmosphere. Very old-fashioned, because it wasn't simple to do that. And then they were keen up to get in, they were assisted. Everybody really was.
Yeah,
But the police were really good humours there, weren't they?
There was a woman police officer there,
Well,
wasn't
we
there?
talked about the
And we all said, come on, you should speak up if you like.
They were really good humours.
Actually, another good woman police officer was at Chesterfield. You talk about being blocked in, being held in a service back. I think it was the first time we ever saw that, which was at Chesterfield, wasn't it? And with over the panel, I chose would you all be held in, blah, blah, blah. And we were held in. And in the end, it got to a bit where some of the fellas were losing their patience. And there was this little woman standing down just on the pitch, on the pitch. And one fellow was going to jump to go up on the pitch, come down the fence to go that way. If you do, and she started lecturing him, and then she goes, oh, tiny thing, wasn't she? And she looked like, yeah. And then they finally let us all out.
I just want to get down to that one. Sometimes it's useful. I mean, I know some of the from my last time. I mean, we had that trouble with my base after 2 weeks ago. And we had that trouble. And we couldn't find out where the Charlton and where we were supposed to go into the base. And we looked at forward and back all the time doing that. None of it really. And that's why I was so impressed with Ipswich sometimes. Because you could actually They knew what was going on. Well, when we went, we go back to the hotel, when we did finally get into the hotel, we virtually walked the whole way down the whole downstairs to the stable. When we finally got in, and we got our tickets, we just virtually gone where we thought was right. And we've got in, and we're sitting there, and I'll think earlier again, it's where they got the upper layer, and we're sitting at the back of the underlayer. And of course, the ball, we keep ended up seeing it. To me, that's not watching football. You see a fella kick it from there, down a bit like that, and we all know where it is. And of course, the annoying thing was, then after scored, I mean, we were wild around that, and we were the only chance the ball was here. And in front of us, we had these, unfortunately, some foul mouth youths who did want to turn around, and all that, and they got really nasty. We moved. We had to move because, and we thought, God, they talk about, this is I know it's football, isn't it? They talk about sort of dissecting the team, but there was no organisation, and that is one of the top clubs in the country. The law didn't know where to send us. When we finally got there, we were sent in, and we were sitting in a month. Rotten after the ball. Really rotten after the ball. The Wimbledon one was a little bit of a cruiser, really, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, that was an easy cruising match, and it was really, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't think I have to give us a good sign, you know. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, we sat really up away. Really up away. And there were people that made up sack on us, and showed them. Was that the match, or was it earlier in the match, or was it earlier in the season, when that American couple came in? An American couple came in? They went to Carlisle, so they went to Carlisle then. Well, Ian always said about Lever, although he used that this year, with regard to control with his head. He said the case of putting his head down and he hit the right bump. He'll go the right way. And exactly how he described it. And he said, on that day, he said it hit the right bump and it went the right way. I don't know if he had to go or not, but there we are. But no, the scenes up at Carlisle were meant to be unbelievable, didn't it? No, it's meant to be unbelievable. Because that was the stage where they actually, they went to promotion. I mean, Wimbledon, really, that was a strange game with Wimbledon, because you wasn't there thinking, oh, but no way, today, we're down. We were there thinking, don't know that today, because we're up already. You know, don't know if we lose. I mean, not in the first game last year. Yeah. The fact that we got rocked, we always do one on the first, what the hell? Yeah. They'd already done it, I mean, I wasn't there, I go elsewhere. And it's like, we don't care. Well, yeah, I mean, he was there. But I mean, he was there. Yeah, it must have been great, you know. Get another six if you like, you know. I was really actually, I've just got a phone back at 2:15, and they're only really basically putting this I wasn't reading back at the nursery. I was checking over it. And you know, went down the pub, that crowd was like choked up the picture. And it was fantastic. I don't really get the private sound. I didn't get the bad. I was like, in again, you know. Who is that? He said, actually, asked it really before, because when else that happened, they choked me.
Yeah, I like that.
And then just the best is really, I can still, as I say, when we asked for Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's it. You might be very near, you might want to observe and get moved out or something. But you never really felt. I was really felt trouble with them getting something. But, you know, that's something we do. You've been 16 years old, you've been someone else, you've been no feeling of child.
After all the years of misinformation and neglect, which goes back 30 years, and it goes back, oh yeah, it goes back to the First World War, really, when CD was pushing stuff, so South Africa, couldn't get enough money to pay that, the board was huge, and with the death of the Albert I don't know whose idea it was, I think it was Watson, whoever bought Jimmy Hill, as well. I think that's it, yeah. Jimmy Hill, I know he used a lot of stuff, but Jimmy Hill brought a little bit of, charisma, let's call it, the way he presented John Pierce as the Crown. Now, the signing was done by Lennon or whoever, but it wasn't the case that we were John Pierce was chosen, it was, now, you can remember going down there, and we were down there, and he was so, wow, you were 100,000 pounds away. To you, the supporters, Mrs. Hill, the old entrepreneur, coming out, this is what we're going to do. Now, that name was Junior Ray, and we went to Junior Ray Cricket Club, the Papa Dog, didn't we? And Mary would be up on the stage, we went to the Player of the Year, there would be a day, actually bubbling on probably selling the club in a nice one, and then the paying way, this is what can be done. And I think we were running down there for a short while, and I think it was Upton, I think it was my mate Upton, wasn't it? So, classic move, absolute classic move. Because Jimmy Hill brought in glamour. When Charlton, for so long, I mean, probably not my fault, it was not Fulham, but for so long, they were being downtrodden every year until people, what did we talk about? Oh, they got a decent player for the firm, but then they get it, and everyone was going to still. I mean, that's like Gloria. I mean, once again, there was probably, I don't know, probably a very shrewd businessman, but there he let his heart really think, I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy a player who can score goals, he should, but of course, you know, it's like putting William in amongst long lane under 10. He can go out there and do the best he can. Yeah, so that doesn't and yeah, he just had everyone else. He was scoring goals and he played chances. And but the way we talk about him, Jackson, he was everything. It's weird how they're brilliant. They've been a long time. They were aimed for sort of 70 and that's been yeah. Although Williams has to do it. They've only asked for much. He already made them know, and he said, well, I'll take you to oh, that is my girl, yeah. He said, oh, I can't take that there. And actually, I admire him for saying that. Yeah. Very, yeah, that's it. He is, when he scored his goal last week, oh God, yeah, he said he scored the other one, but he don't think. But when he scored that goal, he said, no, that's it.